All right, guys, we're back again. We just finished week 6 of the Gridiron 7-on-7 League. I'm Tone Colston. This is your Gridiron Report. Let's talk about everything that went down this past weekend. Week 6 was our last regular season weekend of the Gridiron 7-on-7 League. This upcoming weekend will be our playoff championship weekend this upcoming Sunday. So, had some big games, had a few matchups in each age group to kind of figure out who's going to be the top teams and just get a few extra games of the top versus the top and the bottom versus the bottom. We always do like a matchup week with the league. Overall, everything went well. We finished pretty much almost a flawless season, to be honest with you. But the championships and all that stuff's always the stressful part on my end because everybody's ready to win. Nobody likes to go home at the end. But, I think everybody's going to come out and play their best and do their best. And, for me, we've got all the stats and standings rounded out. We will not do stats for the tournament. So everything that's in, I waited a few days for everybody to get a few more stats in this week, get that knocked out and get that situated. So our league leaders should be all up to date. Our standings should be all up to date. Other than that, man, let's get into it. Let's talk about, the high school division. Let's go ahead and get started. We've got some great highlights from this past weekend. Let's throw the highlights on, get through it the way we always do it, and we'll just go from there. So, high school highlights from week 6 of the Gridiron 7-on-7 League. Let's check them out.
Mr. Worldwide, back at your home. Let's get this thing jumping. Hold up. 3, 2, 1, let's go now. We don't pull up to the party, jumping. As they go twerking, jumping. Too late, I can't stop jumping. Todo brincando, jumping. It's your birthday, girl, get it jumping. Dale loca, toma. Jumping. Dale loca, toma. Jumping. Another ready to this party, jumping. Pack it up, pack it in. I came to sin. If she's with me, then you know she's the 10. I quarterback sack, billion stack, 8 buck on a pocket game over rack. Get up, stand up, come on, get your hands up. I was raised by Luke, so go and raise the roof. I stay clean like a fresh triple beam, and in '93 it was all a dream. Fresh monkey, chunky, pass me the rollie and roll me the funky. She got a like a 7 trait dunk, and she don't make it touch, she make it jump. Hold up. 3, 2, 1, let's go now. We don't pull up to the party, jumping. As they go twerking, jumping. Too late, I can't stop jumping. Todo brincando, jumping. It's your birthday, girl, get it jumping. Dale loca, toma. Jumping. Dale loca, toma. Jumping. Another ready to this party, jumping. Ladies, shake your rumpin'. Shake them booties, 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 jumping. If it's an IG pic, then you know I don't trust it. But if she thick, then you know I'll bust it. I came to get down, we came to get down. Now throw your hands up and jump around. Hold up. 3, 2, 1, let's go now. We don't pull up to the party, jumping. As they go twerking, jumping. Too late, I can't stop jumping. Todo brincando, jumping. It's your birthday, girl, get it jumping. Dale loca, toma. Jumping. Dale loca, toma. Jumping. Another ready to this party, jumping. Jump, 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 jump. Hold up. Jump, 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 jump. Another ready to this party, jumping. Jump, 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 jump. Hold up. Jump, 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 jump. Another ready to this party, jumping. Mr. Worldwide, back at your home. Let's get this thing jumping. Hold up. 3, 2, 1, let's go now. We don't pull up to the party, jumping. As they go twerking, jumping. Too late, I can't stop jumping. Todo brincando, jumping. It's your birthday, girl, get it jumping. Dale loca, toma. Jumping. Dale loca, toma. Jumping. Another ready to this party, jumping. Pack it up, pack it in. I came to sin. If she's with me, then you know she's the 10. I quarterback sack, billion stack, 8 buck on a pocket game over rack. Get up, stand up, come on, get your hands up. I was raised by Luke, so go and raise the roof. I stay clean like a fresh triple beam, and in '93 it was all a dream. Fresh monkey, chunky, pass me the rollie and roll me the funky. She got a like a 7 trait dunk, and she don't make it touch, she make it jump. Hold up. jump around. Hold up. 3, 2, 1, let's go now. We don't pull up to the party jumping. If they go twerking, jumping. Too late, I can't stop jumping. Todo mundo brincando, jumping. It's your birthday, girl, get it jumping. Dale loca, toma. Jumping. Dale loca, toma. Jumping. Another round of chocolate party jumping. Jump, 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 jump. Hold up. Jump, 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 jump. Another round of chocolate party jumping. Jump, 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 jump. Hold up. Jump, 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 jump. Another round of chocolate party jumping.
All right, so we got another good set of highlights for the guys. I appreciate our two videographer guys, Derek Owen and Chris Reddick. Both those guys have done a great job this year in getting us some highlights and coming out and taking care of the teams. But let's go ahead and get to it. We got our high school division. Our two top teams of the league this past weekend was one team that's had a tough season, but I'm glad they were able to finish off well. Had Seymour finished 3-0 this past weekend. Came out, had a great weekend. They played really great defense when we get to the, stops and all that stuff. Just offense has just been kind of sputtering here and there, but were able to pull it together and pull off 3 victories this weekend. Sweetwater, Sweetwater's been on fire all season, led by quarterback Nolan Dacus. Sorry about that. That's one of my guys. I was thinking about a handful of things to say, but Nolan Dacus, quarterback, upcoming senior with Sweetwater, had a great weekend. They've had 2 or 3 weekends in a row now, I think, undefeated. Played some of the top teams this past weekend, and were able to win them out. So curious to see, where that puts them in the division standings and all that stuff. Had a couple big games this weekend for the high school division just to kind of seed everything out. We had 3 games that were kind of top versus top guys. We had Greenback and Sweetwater. Sweetwater was able to pull that one out 35-10. We had Sevier County and the Bobcats Central. Sevier County actually took an L in this one, and Central was able to win 17-15 in that game. And then we had one other game with Sweetwater and Goon Squad to kind of round out our top big games of the week, and Sweetwater was able to pull that one off 19-14. So it's a couple big games, a couple close games, kind of rounded us out from top to bottom, kind of gave us who's going to be our bye week teams and all that good stuff, which we'll do a whole new quick show on that after I get this Gridiron report over for our playoffs. So I'll do that as soon as I finish this. I'll knock into that and get that one out to you tomorrow. But let's go ahead and get into it. Let's look at that division standings, league standings, final standings for the high school division and see where everybody rounded out. So for our Gunslinger division, we've got Sevier County and Greenback both sitting on top and tied for first place, both 11-5. We got Goon Squad 8-6, Kentucky Raptors 7-10, Seymour 6-10, Code Blue 5-3, Cougars 4-13, and Bearden at 3-10. I've eliminated all the other teams that aren't going to be in the playoffs this weekend, so we have a clear look at the standings and who's who. When we get our Gridiron division, we've got Sweetwater sitting on the top of it at 12-4. We got Bobcats in second place at 8-2, Orange Crush at 8-6, Clinton 8-7, Mayhem 6-9, Immortals 3-3, and Blue Crush 1-5. All right, so for our division standings, we got them rounded out. Everybody, we got about 16 games in this year, which is good. That's a few more games we got last year. Probably the second most we've played in the past few years. So I'm glad we got those in. Try to get some extra games, but I know everybody's busy with baseball, soccer, and everything else that's going on. So I'm glad we were able to knock this out and get it in. But when you're looking at the high school division, we've got 4 teams at the top of this thing. We got Sevier County and Greenback on the Gunslinger division at 11-5. On the Gridiron division, we got Sweetwater and the Bobcats, 12-4, 8-2. So when we do our playoff, I'm doing it a little bit different this year. Normally I give a single elimination tournament, and that's it. But I'm trying to give guys a few more games, make it a little more interesting at the end. So we'll do a single elimination tournament for about the first 2 rounds, and then we'll move into a double elimination tournament when we get to the final 4 teams of each age group for the most part. So our first 4 teams, Sevier County, Greenback, Sweetwater, and the Bobcats, they'll get a bye in the first round part of the single elimination. The other, 10 teams are going to compete to see who's going to fill in for the final 4 to compete against those top 4. And then we'll, kind of have a playoff for that. And then those final 4 play double elimination tournament at the end. So congratulations, you guys. It's been a fun season watching everybody play. Look forward to seeing somebody come out in the playoffs and, somebody be an X factor and get a couple wins and then maybe they're not supposed to get and keep it moving. So let's get into our league leaders, and then we'll get into our players of the week. So for our league leaders in our high school division, we've got gunslingers, touchdown leaders. We've got Greenback, Lucas Clifford sitting in first place with 40 touchdowns. Sevier County's Tate Hutchins with 39 touchdowns. Sweetwater's Nolan Dacus with 34 touchdowns. Orange Crush's Fisher Newman with 29. Reese Hatcher from the Kentucky Raptors with 28. And Seymour's Brody Faree with 24 touchdowns. When it comes to our receiving leaders, we've got Sevier County's Zach Banks at 19 touchdowns sitting in first place. Griffin Cope from Greenback with 18 touchdowns sitting in second place. Sweetwater's Isaiah Stiles with 12. Kentucky Raptors' Lane Jeffries with 10. Kevin Fitzgerald from Bearden with 8. TJ Cornett from the Raptors and Adam Burdick from Seymour also tied with 8. Then we got 3 players tied with 7, 4 players tied with 6, and 6 players tied with 5. When it comes to our defensive leaders, we've got one guy sitting on the top of this. We got Sevier County's Zach Banks with 7 interceptions. Sweetwater's Landon Murphy with 5 interceptions. Greenback's Cooper Holt with 4 interceptions. Tied with Landon Dacus from Sweetwater with 4 interceptions. We got 6 players tied with 3 and 12 players tied with 2. When it comes to our sacks, we had 2 guys that really led the way. We got Seymour's Dylan Metabarger with 15 sacks. Cougars' Bentley Gross with 13 sacks. The Raptors' Nick Hale with 8. Tate Anderson from Greenback with 7. Isaiah Simmons and Jensen Bollinger, both from Orange Crush, tied with 5. And we got 2 other players tied with 4. When it comes to defenses, we got our top 4 defenses. We got Seymour with 23 stops. Leading the way, we got Greenback with 21 stops. And we got Orange Crush and Sevier County both tied with 20. All right, so for our league leaders, we didn't have any ties at the top, which is good. We got official players of the year. So when we get our quarterbacks, we got Lucas Clifford, 40 touchdowns from Greenback. Started off, the season right there at the top and finished at the top. So, we got Tate Hutchins really, put in a big season too with Sevier County, 2 of the top teams. At 39 touchdowns, 39, 40 touchdowns, pretty big in the 7-on-7 throughout our 6 weeks or whatnot. So congratulations, Lucas Clifford. You're going to be our gunslinger of the year for the high school division. So congratulations on that. When it comes to our receivers, our go-getters, kind of the same deal. We got Sevier County and Greenback sitting there at 19 and 18. We got Zach Banks from Sevier County with 19. We got Griffin Cope with 18 sitting at second place. So we're going to just swap that one around. Sevier County's Zach Banks with 19 touchdowns leading the league. You're going to be the go-getter of the year for our high school division. Congratulations. We keep it moving down. We got our defensive leaders. Top teams generally have some of the best players in the statistics. So our division leaders in defensive interceptions for our defensive leader, is Sevier County's Zach Banks. So Zach Banks, it's not fair, but I'm just looking. I do this stuff kind of on cue as we go, but it's not fair. But hey, you get to be go-getter of the year and ball hawk of the year in the same season with 7 interceptions. Congratulations. Not sure if we've had anybody get but 2. I'd have to look at it, but that's big time. Appreciate it. Heck, good work this year. Way to get after it. Let's move it on down to our sack leaders. We got Seymour's Dylan Metabarger is our sack leader with 15. So he's going to be our rusher of the year. And, then we got our stops and all that. And so, like I said, Seymour's at the top of this thing on stops, and there's a couple teams that quit keeping stats and all that stuff. But, they played some good games near the end. Just like I said, the offense was a little shaky every now and then, but they've got really good defense. Finished the season with 23 stops, led the league. But let's go ahead and get into our players of the week for week 6. Got 4 quarterbacks right here on the top of this list. We got 2 guys with 7. We got Tate Hutchins from Sevier County had 7 touchdowns. We got Fisher Newman from Orange Crush had 7 touchdowns. We had 2 guys with 8. All right, so we had you got 8. Sweetwater's Nolan Dacus, 8 touchdowns. Pretty big weekend, had a couple conversions here and there. But talked to him about earlier, when you go undefeated, you generally quarterback means he had a pretty big week. So this week, week 6, Seymour's Brody Faree. Congratulations. You had 8 touchdowns, 4 one-point conversions, and a 3-point conversion. Congratulations. Gunslinger of the week, Brody Faree from Seymour for week 6 in the high school division. Congratulations, man. When it comes to our receivers, same thing. We had a couple receivers. We had Orange Crush's Braden Bird with three touchdowns. We had Seymour's Caden Salage with 4 touchdowns. We had 5 guys with two guys with 5 touchdowns. So we had Sweetwater's Isaiah Styles with 5 touchdowns, 1 1-point conversion, and 1 2-point conversion. We had Sevier County Zach Banks with 5 touchdowns and 1 2-point conversion. So boom, boom, boom. We're going to go Sweetwater. Isaiah Styles, you had 1 extra conversion on the weekend. So Isaiah Styles, go-getter of the week for week 6 for the high school division. Congratulations from Sweetwater. When it comes to our defensive back of the week, Zach's going to get his name in here one way or the other, I guess. So Sevier County, the only guy with 3 interceptions on the weekend. Zach Banks, 3 interceptions. Ball hawk of the week 6 for the high school divisions. Congratulations, Zach. When it comes to our rushers, Thomas Hawkins from Sweetwater had 2 sacks. We had Jensen Bollinger from the Orange Crush had 3. But Seymour's Dylan Metabarger, 4 sacks, week 6, helped lead his team to 3-0. Congratulations, you are our rusher of the week for week 6. So congratulations to you guys for our players of the week. Let's keep it rolling. Let's get to our varsity division. Let's check out the highlights first, and then we'll get into everything else.
It's time!
for our varsity division, had a couple big games. We'll talk about our teams of the week. We had two teams that finished 3-0. Each week of the season so far, all divisions, we have somebody finish undefeated so far. So, varsity division, top two teams, two teams that have been playing really well. Looking forward to the playoffs, I'm sure. We've got Mad Blue and Mad Red, both those teams 3-0, week 6. Congratulations, you guys. Put in a great season so far. We'll see in the standings how that rounds you out. But we had two big games for the varsity division, kind of see who's who. We had Mad Blue versus Underrated. Mad Blue won that thing 17-16 by 1 point. We also had Underrated, hadn't played against Mad Red either in a while, so we played Mad Red versus Underrated, and Underrated lost that one too, 17-18. So 2 1-point games against two of the top teams in the division. So I know the playoffs are going to be tough and tight. So, that's what we look for. Hopefully they're not a bunch of blowouts. Hopefully everybody can get after it. But congratulations to those teams, kind of using, these last couple games to round out the top teams in the division. Let's go ahead and move in. All right, let's go ahead and move in and check our stats and standings, and we'll go from there. So for our varsity standings, we've got Mad Select Red sitting on the top of this thing at 12-3. The Mortals sitting at second place at 9-3. Mad Select Blue at 8-7. Underrated 6-5. Orange Crush 5-9. Jump Out Crew 2-9. Bearden 1-7. And Sweetwater at 1-11. All right, so when it comes to the standings in the varsity division, we've really got two teams sitting on top of this thing. We've got, Mad Select Red and the Immortals. Mad Blue's working there. They're third place. They still had 7 losses out of 15 games. But we got two teams tied, or, not tied. Two teams sitting at the top, both of them with 3 losses. One with 12 wins, one with 9 wins. So when it comes to our playoff, I'm doing this a little bit different this year. I was trying to do a full double elimination tournament. We just don't have time to get it all in one day. So we're kind of doing a hybrid slight tournament. So Mad Select Red and the Immortals will get the bye week. Not the bye week, but they'll get the buys in the tournament. Everybody else from Mad Blue all the way down to Sweetwater will play a single elimination tournament all the way down until they get the last 2 teams to fit in with Mad Select Red and the Immortals, and they'll play in the double elimination tournament at the end. So congratulations to those guys. Finished the season on top. Let's keep it moving. What do we got next? Let's go division leaders, and let's see who's leading the stats. Our top gunslingers in the varsity division will be Mad Reds, Cal Ridner, 30 touchdowns, sitting in first place. Immortals, Cade Johnson with 28 touchdowns, sitting in second place. Orange Crushes, Carson Snodderly with 19 touchdowns. Underrated's Easton Nip with 15 touchdowns. And then Mad Reds, Pierce Chadwell with 13 touchdowns. With our receivers, we've got a good race right here. We got the Immortals, Hudson Martin at first place with 9 touchdowns. Mad Reds, Charlie Turner with 8 touchdowns. And tied at 6 touchdowns, we got Immortals, Hunter Stevens. Mad Reds, Jonah Sema. Orange Crushes, Corbin Fout. Underrated has Camden Wilcox and Malachi Morgan. All those guys tied with 6 touchdowns. Then we got 3 players tied with 5 and 8 players tied with 4. When it comes to interceptions, we've got 3 guys tied at the top for first place. We got Mad Blues, Cody Maines. Mad Reds, Charlie Turner. And Orange Crushes, Corbin Fout. Bearden's Luke Ford has 4 interceptions, and Mad Red's Easton George also has 4 interceptions. We got 5 players tied at 3 and 11 players tied at 2. When it comes to our sacks, we got 1 guy sitting on the top of this also. We got Mad Red's Colt Ramsey, 12 sacks. Mad Blues, Connor Spencer, 9 sacks. Orange Crushes, Easton Peevely with 8 sacks. When it comes to our top defenses, we got Mad Red sitting on the top of this with 26 stops. Orange Crush with 21. Immortals and Mad Blue both with 19, and Sweetwater with 14. All right, so when it comes to our league leaders in our varsity division, we don't have any ties in the top 2 categories. So let's start off with, we got our gunslingers in the varsity division. We got 2 guys that really separated themselves the whole season. When you look at the list, I kind of messed it up. I'm sure I fixed it whenever I was talking about it in the first part. But we got Mad Reds, Cal Ridner is first place, and then Immortals, I got the Mad Red and Immortals swapped. Immortals, Cade Johnson is second place. So Cal Ridner, 30 touchdowns, top team in the league, 12-3. Cade Johnson, 28 touchdowns, second team in the league. A couple games short. They missed a couple weekends here and there. But you can't count on, on what could have happened. So we just got to go with what happened. So we got Cal Ridner, Gunslinger of the Year for our varsity division from Team Mad Red with 30 touchdowns. Congratulations. We move on down to our go-getters. And we've got one guy sitting on top of this one and even having a couple missed weekends. The Immortals Hudson Martin, 9 touchdowns, led the league, first place, go-getter of the year. Congratulations to you, man. We're going to move on down to our defensive guys for our ball hawk of the year. Now, we got 3 guys tied here. We got Cody Maines from Mad Blue. We got Charlie Turner from Mad Red. And we got Corbin Fout from the Orange Crush, all tied with 5 interceptions. So, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll figure it out. May just put all 3 of you guys in the drawing, but we got a tie for first place for Ball Hawk of the Year. Maybe in the next episode whenever I do the autographed items and stuff like that, then I'll just come back and we'll just throw you in there and see how it goes. But you 3 guys, hey, we got a tie, 3-way tie. Normally if it's 2, I give co-Ball Hawk of the Year. So if we got 3, we just give it 3-way with it. So, but anyways, congratulations, Cody Maines, Mad Blue, Charlie Turner, Mad Red, and Corbin Fout from the Orange Crush on Great Year's Ball Hawks of the Year. All right. So let's get into our rushers. We've got one guy sitting on top of this. We got our rushers. We got one guy with 12 sacks, double digits. All right. The only guy so far in double digits in the high school and the varsity, but we got Colt Ramsey from Kentucky's Mad Select Red. Congratulations, Colt, on our sack rusher of the year. Congratulations on your Player of the Year awards. Let's go ahead and get into our Player of the Week awards for Week 6. And we've got 2 quarterbacks. We got Mad Blues, Cason Crawford with 5 touchdowns. But Mad Reds, Cal Ridner, big weekend. Held him up and pulled him into first place this weekend. Cal Ridner, 8 touchdowns, 6 one-point conversions. Cal, congratulations on Gunslinger of the Week for Week 6. We got a couple receiver guys. We got Mad Blues, Colin Fugate. We got Connor Spencer. Both those guys had 3 touchdowns. But Orange Crushes, Corbin Fout, 4 touchdowns, leads the way in the varsity division. 4 touchdowns. Corbin Fout, congratulations from the Orange Crush, your go-getter of the week, Week 6. When it comes to defense, we really only had one guy with 2 interceptions. We got Cody Mays, 2 interceptions. Actually tied him up, all right, to get him into the tie for first place for the Ball Hawk of the Year. So, Cody, congratulations for Team Mad Blue. You get Ball Hawk of the Week for week number 6. When we go to rushers, we got one guy. I don't know if this was a misprint or not. It didn't make him Player of the Year, but it does give him Rusher of the Week. But we got one guy from the Orange Crush, Easton Peevely. Easton Peevely, it says he got 8 sacks, okay? 8 sacks might be a record in 3 games, so you got a couple each game or whatnot. So congratulations to Easton Peevely, Week 6 Rusher of the Week from Orange Crush. Other than that, we got our Players of the Year. We got our Players of the Week. Let's keep it rolling. Let's go into our JV division. Let's go check out the highlights, and then we'll get into everything else.
The real swing.
I just wanna rock. Body of the y'all.
MC, make another hit.
Whoa! This ain't what you want.
Project
This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want. Ha! 1600 block. I just wanna rock. I just wanna I just wanna rock. Body out of ya. Shorty got that body out of ya. Hit it once, no time. Set up, you gon' kill my vibe. Stand on my money, don't know my size. Pick them sides, and you better choose wisely. That's my high. 1, 2, 3, 4, throw up your 5. That's my high. Damn. 1, 2, 3, 4, throw up the 5.
MC, make another hit.
Whoa! This ain't what you want.
Project
This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want.
All right, so when it comes to our JV division, we really only had one solid team finish out strong this week. We had one 3-0 team. We've got the Kentucky Raptors finished 3-0. For the JV division in week 6. Let's see. We had quite a few big games in this JV division, though. Okay, so we're going to cover all the big games, and then we'll get into how everything finished out with the standings. So big games. We had Mad Red played Team Rise. Rise has missed a couple weeks, so they hadn't got to play anybody. So they had a couple big games this week. I think all 3 of their games were big games. So and they performed. They're the defending champions, I believe, in their division. So you got Mad Red 15, Rise 17. So Rise won their first big matchup against Mad Red. Then we put them against Mad Blue. So Rise versus Mad Blue. Rise blew them out 26-8, dominated the whole game. Then we have Rise versus Underrated, another good team in this league, in this division. Rise took an L, their first L, only L of the weekend. They lost 14-17 to Team Underrated. And Underrated is one of the teams that they've not got a ton of games. They missed a couple weeks, but they've won more than they've lost. So I think they're going to be a big team in the playoff as it comes down to it. A couple other big teams we had Mad Blue versus Team Scream. Mad Blue won that game 25-5 over Scream. We had Mad Red versus Team Scream also, and Mad Red got after them too, 29-9. I think we had one more game for the Scream that was a big game. We had the Seahawks versus Scream. Seahawks took an L on that one. The Scream won that one 29-10. So Scream been having a couple big weekends. They had to play the other 2 top teams and took some L's. So hopefully they'll come back in the playoffs and be able to rematch it and end up seeing who can pull it out. But a couple other big games that we had this week. We had Mad Blue versus the Seahawks. Mad Blue pulled that one out 13-6. And then we had Mad Red versus Underrated also. Underrated was in 2 big games. They had to play Rise, which they beat them 17-14. And then we put Underrated versus Mad Red, and Underrated pulled this one out 24-20. So, everybody kind of won and lost. Like I said, there wasn't but one undefeated team, and that was the Raptors. So all those top teams that played each other, nobody was actually able to pull out and just beat everybody. So that means in the playoffs, definitely with the double elimination aspect of it, I think it's going to be, we get to that championship game. Scheduling wise, I hope the champion that makes it through the winner's bracket wins it. But if they lose, you got to get knocked off twice to actually be to get the championship. So, or to win or lose it. So, let's move into it. Let's check in the division standings for the JV division, and then we'll go from there. When it comes to our JV division, we've got our Gunslinger division. We've got one team sitting on top of this. We got Mad Red at 11-6. We got Team Rise at 9-2. The Kentucky Raptors at 9-5. Hardin Valley Seahawks at 8-7, Jump Out Crew 6-5, Halls at 5-10, Bearden at 2-6, and D Block at 1-10. Gridiron division, we got Mad Blue sitting on the top of that division at 15-3. We got Team Scream at 13-4. We got the Black Cats at 9-7, Underrated at 8-3, Goon Squad at 6-5, the Hawks at 4-12, and Code Blue at 1-15. All right, so you're looking at our division standings. We got two divisions. We got Mad Red 11-6, Rise 9-2, top 2 teams in the Gunslinger division. In the Gridiron division, we got Mad Blue at 15-3 and Team Scream at 13-4. Those are our top 4 teams from top to bottom in all the teams. So we got Mad Red, Rise, Mad Blue, and Scream. All 4 of those teams are going to catch a bye in the first couple games of this tournament for the weekend. The other 10 or so teams are going to play it out until they can match up with those 4, and then we'll go from 4 to 4, and then we'll play a double elimination tournament with who's left. So excited to get into that. Had a lot of great action this year in this division. This division's grown quite a bit. Normally our youth division is the bigger division, but our JV division was our biggest division this year in consistent play. High school and JV, we had the same amount of teams. High school, we had a handful of teams that didn't play each week. JV, they showed up week in and week out. You see all the teams got quite a few games. So, let's go into it. Let's talk about our league leaders, players of the year, players of the week, and all that good stuff. When it comes to our top gunslingers in this JV division, we've got Mad Blues, Colby Green sitting in first place with 38 tugs. Team Screams, Jet Hembry with 35 touchdowns. Kentucky Raptors, Case and Harrell with 31. Black Cats, Wyatt Britton with 29. Team Rise is Lathan Patterson with 21. Tied with Underrated's Jackson Byington with 21. When it comes to our receivers, we got Mad Blue, Sam Runyon sitting on the top of this thing with 15 touchdowns. We got Team Screams, Easton Woods, and Underrated's Nick Fletcher tied with 12 touchdowns. And then we got Goon Squad's Ahmad Simpson, Hardin Valley Seahawks, Jacob Cruz, the Raptors, Brendan Beeson, and Tennessee Brigade's Kane Hedrick all tied with 11. Then we have one guy with 10, two players with 9, and 4 players tied with 8. Defensively on interceptions, man, we've got 5 guys tied with first place. We got Goon Squad's Ahmad Stinson, Hardin Valley Seahawks Rex Wiseman, Rise's Crew Schuler, Scream's Easton Woods, and Tennessee Brigade's Kane Hedrick, all tied with 5 interceptions, sitting at first place. We got 5 players tied with 4, and then 12 players tied at 3. When it comes to our sack leaders, we got one guy, Wyatt Phillips, with 5 sacks, first place from Team Scream. And then we got 5 other players tied with 1 sack. Our top defenses, we got Team Scream with 39 stops leading the way. We got Mad Red with 37, Mad Blue with 34, Tennessee Brigade with 33, and Hardin Valley Seahawks at 30. All right, so when it comes to our league leaders in our JV division, kind of the same with all of it. We don't have too many ties. We had the 3-way tie for Ballhawks. Hopefully we don't have that again. But when we got Gunslinger of the Year for our JV division, we got one guy sitting on the top of this thing. We got Mad Blues, Colby Green. Great season so far. He had 38 touchdowns. He beat out Jet Hembry from Team Scream with 35 touchdowns, just by 3 touchdowns. So big season for those 2 guys. Bigger season for Colby Green. So congratulations. Gunslinger of the Year, Colby Green, Mad Blue for the JV division. When it comes to our Go-Getter of the Year, looks like, heck, if you're going to have the Gunslinger of the Year, you might as well try to get your Go-Getter in there too. So we got Sam Runyon. Been looking at his name. He had a big weekend this weekend, I believe, in the single week stats. But you got Mad Blues, Sam Runyon with 15 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns ahead of second place. Sam Runyon, congratulations. Go-Getter of the Year for the JV division. Congratulations. Of course. Defensive leaders. So we get down to defensive leaders. I don't know how we're going to do this one, but we'll figure this out too. When we get out to the awards and all that stuff. But hey, Ball Hawks of the Year. Okay, we got a whole squad of. We got an all-star team of Ball Hawks right here sitting at first place. So we got Ahmad Stinson from Goon Squad, Rex Wiseman from the Seahawks, Crew Schuler from Rise, Easton Woods from Scream, and Kane Hedrick from Tennessee Brigade. All 5 interceptions. Okay, 5 interceptions in 6 weeks though isn't a whole lot. So somebody could have broke out and got that extra interception, pulled themselves up ahead of that thing. So we'll figure it out for the show. We'll call those guys Ball Hawks of the Year. All right, y'all tied it first, but when it comes to the little prizes at the end, we'll figure that out and see how we go from there. But congratulations to those guys. Let's move on down to our sack leaders. Didn't have a lot of sacks turned in, but Wyatt Phillips from Team Scream, 5 sacks, led the league in what was turned in. So congratulations, Wyatt Phillips. You're our rusher of the year in our JV division. So let's move on into it. Let's check out our players of the week for week 6. For our JV division, we had 3 quarterbacks, have some decent numbers. You had the Raptors. Case and Harrell had 6 touchdowns. Team Rise's Lathan Patterson had 7 touchdowns. But the Black Cats, Wyatt Britton had 9 touchdowns, 3 2-point conversions. So first time of the year, I think, for Wyatt. So Wyatt Britton, congratulations. Gunslinger of the week for the JV divisions from the Black Cats with 9 touchdowns. Congratulations. When it comes to our, when it comes to our Go-Getter of the Year or Go-Getter of the Week, we had 2 guys stand out. So we'll give Go-Getter of the Week honors to these 2 guys. We got the Black Cats, Max Cooper had 3 touchdowns, and then we got the Kentucky Raptors, Brendan Bedson. Dang it. I apologize. I wrote this a little bit too small. But I got Brendan Bedson with 3 touchdowns. Hopefully I got that right. If not, you know who I'm talking about. Congratulations, both you guys from the Black Cats and the Raptors. Congratulations. Ball Hawk or Go-Getter of the Week, week 6 for the JV division. So when it comes to our Ball Hawk of the Week, we really only had 1 guy stand out. We had a couple guys with 2 interceptions, but we really only had 1. Mad Reds, Javen Wantz, 3 interceptions. Javon Wantz, 3 interceptions. I hate that I'm messing this up right here. It's kind of frustrating, but All right, Javon Watts. All right. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about this. Like I said, I write this very small sometimes. Sometimes I put it up here behind the screen so I can see it a little bit better. But it looks like Javon Watts. All right, 3 interceptions. Congratulations. Ball Hawk of the Week from Mad Red, week 6 for the JV division. When it comes to Rusher of the Week for our JV division, we really only had one guy get anything. We had one guy, Team Scream, Wyatt Phillips, 2 sacks. Congratulations. You're our Rusher of the week 6 for our JV division. All right, so kind of screwed that up a little bit, but I got it. Y'all got it. Y'all know who won. Congratulations. Let's keep it rolling. Let's get into our youth division. Let's check out the highlights, and then we'll get into the rest of it.
You're a monster.
All right, so when it comes to our youth division, same deal. We had 2 teams finish 3-0. All right, so 2 out of our 10 or 11 teams that came in and played this weekend finished 3-0. We had Bearden, their first weekend finishing 3-0. So congratulations to you guys finishing the season strong. And then we had Team SOP each and every week, undefeated, 3-0 again this week, 15-0 on the season. Only team in the whole league that went undefeated. You'll see that in the standings in a minute, but yeah, you got to talk about it, right? So congratulations, you 2 teams. Good job this week. We had a couple big games, kind of playing everything out. The youth teams have all played everybody once. Last week was kind of a matchup weekend, but we had a couple of good teams, so we didn't get everybody matched up. We had a few teams missing from last weekend, so this weekend we finished up our matchup week to kind of nail down the top to the bottom on the deal. So we're going to go youth teams. We had SOP boys play TD Factory. Big game. TD Factory had only had 1 loss. Moving them, into that second place division of the division or whatnot. But we had to wrap them in there this week against everybody. So SOP won that game 15-12 over TD Factory. TD Factory had another big game. They had to play Team Up. They had to see who was who in that game, and Team Up pulled that one out 20-19. So then we had one team come in from out of town, which is a Knoxville team, Team D1. Devin Driscoll runs, little 707. His son's starting to play quarterback, so he hit me up. They've been doing some tournaments this year. They wanted to come in and get a weekend with us. So Team D1 came out, played with us. They had 3 games against 3 of our top teams to see how they round out because they've been doing really well in the tournaments. But their first game that we'll talk about, D1 played TD Factory. D1 was able to pull that one out 13-12. All right, so D1's 1-0 so far. They also had to play against Team Up. So D1 versus Team Up, big game, a lot of athletes out there on the field. D1 pulled that one out 22-17 with a 5-point victory over Team Up. And then SOP had to come in and defend the league a little bit. I think they might have even played the first game of the day, to be honest with you, but they held their own. SOP pulled that win, beat D1 14-8 to give D1 their only loss of the day and to keep SOP undefeated for the season. So let's see. I think that was our 6 big games of the season. So let's see how those games rounded out our final standings and just kind of go from there. So our final standings for our youth division has SOP boys at 15-0, sitting on top of the list. We got Team Up at 11-5, SOP boys Red 11-4, Red Storm at 8-8, Goon Squad and Coalfield and the Black Cats all at 7-9, Bearden at 5-10, Mad Select at 3-14, and the Dragons at 2-14. All right, so when it comes to our division standings in our youth division, we got 3 teams sitting at the top of this, and these are all the teams that are going to play in the playoffs. So TD Factory's not in this final standing. I think they finished 9-4. They would have been our 4 seed, but they're out for basketball. So in all these standings, I think Tennessee Brigade, I left them off in the JV division, but I left only teams that are going to be playing in the playoffs so that everybody can kind of see how the standings would line up for playoff type matchups or whatnot. But we have 3 teams sitting on the top of this list. We got SOP boys at 15-0, Team Up at 11-5, and SOP boys Red at 11-4. So those 3 teams are going to get pulled out. Everybody else is going to play each other in a single elimination bracket. They'll play for those last couple spots. I think we'll have 2 spots left to fit into them, and we'll play a 5-team double elimination tournament at the end. So good luck. Let's see how it goes. Like I said, we got those 3 teams. Like I said, congratulations to SOP boys on pulling out the undefeated season this year. Let's go ahead and move on down through it. Let's see how the league leaders and players of the year for the youth division go. So when it comes to our top gunslingers in the youth division, we got Team Ups, Kendall Allen leading the way with 36 touchdowns. SOP boys Red, Dawson Black with 30. We got Jalen Faust from the Goon Squad with 26. We got Timber Thacker from Red Storm with 25. And then we got Coalfield's Braylon Shannon finishes rounds off the top of the list at 20 touchdowns. Receiving leaders, we've got 2 guys sitting on the top of this thing. We got SOP boys Red, Brandon Moles the second, and Team Up's Monty Davis, both sitting in first place with 18 touchdowns. We got Goon Squad with 2 guys, Liam French and Cam Holmes, both tied with 9 touchdowns. Then we got the Red Storms, Tucker Hensley, and Team Up's Destin Jackson, tied with 7 touchdowns. We've got 3 other players tied with 6, and 6 players tied with 5. When it comes to interceptions, we got 2 guys sitting on the top of this list also. We got SOP boys Jace Hawkins with 11 interceptions, tied with Team Up's Kobe Cabbage with 11 interceptions. We got the Black Cats Weston Britton with 8 interceptions. We got Red Storm's Tucker Hensley with 7, tied with Team Up's Monty Davis with 7. Red Storm's Mason Gibbs has 6 interceptions. And then we got 6 players tied with 5 and 13 players tied with 4. When it comes to our sack leaders, we got a couple guys with some sacks. We got Red Storm's Jet Garcia with 4 sacks leading the way. SOP boys Michael Darty and Team Up's Dallas Thomas both tied with 3 sacks. And then when it comes to our top 5 defenses in this division, we got the SOP boys with 34 stops, Coalfield with 31 stops, and then we got Bearden, SOP boys Red, and Team Up all tied with 30 stops each. All right, so in our youth division, when it comes to our top gunslingers of the year, we've got one guy that really lit it up, scored a ton of points there for a few weekends in a row. We got Team Up's Kendall Allen, big-time playmaker, great throws. I finally got to see him play those last couple weeks of the season. Kid's got an arm, kid's got some feet, and he's accurate. So, and he's got some go-getters that can go get it. So when you mix all that together, you get 36 touchdowns, number 1 quarterback in the year. Kendall Allen, congratulations, gunslinger of the year in our youth division. We move on down. Of course, the youth division's got to add some ties to it, so it's not bad. But we got our 2 top guys. They've separated ahead of everybody by double, but they're sitting there tied with each other. So we got SOP boys Red, Brandon Moles the second with 18 touchdowns. And then we got Team Up's Monty Davis with 18 touchdowns also sitting there tied at first. So those guys are going to go go-getters of the year when it comes to our awards and all that good stuff. Brandon Moles, Monty Davis, congratulations. Y'all are go-getters of the year for our youth division. When it comes to our ball hawk of the year, both these guys missed the games on this past weekend. Somebody could have got one at least, but both these guys missed this past weekend. They both sat at 11 last week. They both got 11 this week. They're still in first place. So we got SOP boys Jace Hawkins with 11 interceptions. And then we got team ups, Kobe Cabbage with 11 interceptions also. I think I was talking to SOP Boys coach, Bill Reno. He was telling me, with these 11 interceptions, he thinks Jace is like the official all-time leader in interceptions in the Gridiron 7-on-7 League with this 11 this year. Now, he's only like 5th grade. He's all-time leader, so he's been balling the last 2 or 3 years and racking them up. But, hey, that's a great stat to know. He's a baller. I know one day his big brother was a baller when it came to high school football, so I'm sure he's going to be too one day. So, this will be fun to, keep up and see how it goes. So, congratulations to you two guys, Go-Getters of the Year. When it comes to our Ball Hawk of the Year, didn't have a lot of, Ball Hawks of the Year. Sorry about that. Moving on down, we got our sack leaders, our rusher of the year. Really don't have a lot of guys this year with sacks in this division. We only did it for a couple weeks, but we had one guy, Red Storm's Jet Garcia. He's got 4 sacks. Congratulations. You're our rusher of the year, Jet Garcia. Congratulations. Leading the league in sacks at your age division, the youth division. So other than that, let's check out our week 6 players of the week. We got a handful of guys here. We've got Timber Thacker from the Storm, had 6 touchdowns. We've got Jalen Faust, another big week for him from the Goon Squad, had 8 touchdowns. But we've got one guy sat at the top of this thing this week. SOP Red, Dawson Black, 10 touchdowns. Gunslinger of the week, week 6. Congratulations. I think he finished second in the league. Finished second in the league with 30 touchdowns for the overall. So congratulations, Gunslinger of the week, week 6 for the U Division, Dawson Black from SOP Red. When it comes to our receivers, Cam Holmes from Goon Squad had 4 touchdowns. Chandler Smith from the Black Cats had 3. Peter Ford from Bearden had 3. But nobody could touch this guy. We had SOP Reds, Brandon Moles. Brandon Moles, man, that's how you got it, bud. That's how you moved into first place, right? You got 7 touchdowns this past weekend. 7 touchdowns, Brandon Moles. You had 18 total. You only had 11 going into this week. So to come in there and tie that thing up for Player of the Year with Monty Davis, man, that was pretty impressive. So y'all must have been stat padding a little bit, saying you got to find somebody to get them in there. But hey, I don't care how you get it, just get it and go. So we got Brandon Moles. Brandon Moles is second. Brandon Moles is second. 7 touchdowns. SOP Red, Player of the Week, Go-Getter of the Week for Week 6 in the youth division. When it comes to our interception guys, we had 3 guys that stood out. We had 3 guys that had 3 interceptions. We had the Black Cats, Weston Britton, 3 interceptions. We had Coalfields, Camden Shannon, 3 interceptions. And we had SOP Boys, Javar Cantrell, 3 interceptions. So congratulations, Weston Britton, Camden Shannon, and Javar Cantrell, 3 interceptions. We're going to give you guys Ball Hawks of the Week. Congratulations. That's a big weekend for you guys. So congratulations, Ball Hawks of the Week, Week 6 in the youth division. We got one guy when it comes to sacks. We got the Red Storm, Jet Garcia, gave you Player of the Year, and it got you Player of the Week. 4 sacks, Player of the Week, Week 6, Jet Garcia for the Red Storm. Congratulations. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into our last division. Let's get into this rookie division and finish this thing up. so in our rookie division, the last couple weeks we've had a few teams come in and play with us. So this week, Gibbs wanted to come back in and get a few more games with us. So we took care of them, accommodated, brought them in. When it comes to our top teams of the week, Gibbs is the only team in the rookie division that went undefeated. They went 2-0 in the rookie division. All right. Now, one thing I always do with teams when they come in, whether they're, I didn't get to do it with the youth team this year because there's so many JV teams that needed to play, but I should have done it with the SOP boys also, but didn't get a chance to do it. But we gave Gibbs 2 games versus our youth teams. I can't remember who we played them against, but they went 0-2. But they put up some good competition. They scored a couple points against those older teams. And normally when I got a young team that's really good, I try to play them against the older teams just so they can get some competition, get some work. It's fun beating everybody all the time. I know that. But it's also fun to get your boys challenged, give them a couple games. And, taking a loss at the end of the world, it just gives you a chance to really have to compete your best at the highest level. So congratulations to Gibbs this week. Went 2-0 against the rookies, 0-2 against the youth teams. But overall, during our season, they came out and went 6-0 against their own division. And, hopefully we'll see those guys for a full season next year, and we'll go from there. Let's go ahead and check out our standings for the rookie division. When it comes to our rookie division, we've got underrated sitting in first place at 7-2, the SOP boys at 4-5, tied with the Dragons at 4-5, ETB at 2-5, and Team Gunslinger at 0-7. All right, so when it comes to our standings, we really had one team. We had Team Underrated, 7-2. Their only 2 losses came from out non-league teams, the FSG Stars from Atlanta, and then they lost to Gibbs this past weekend. To Gibbs, this past weekend to give them the 2 losses. But they've been the top team of the year the whole season. The young team, we're just going to play a single elimination tournament with these 4 or 5 teams that show up for the tournament. Call it a season, have some fun with it, hopefully get those guys regrouped and, get them back for next year and let them get into basketball and baseball or whatever else they're doing here in the next few weeks or whatnot. But like I said, didn't get a lot of stats in this division, but we'll go ahead and cover them, and then we'll give out our Player of the Year awards and the weekly award winners. Our top gunslingers in our rookie division starts with underrateds, Nash Merriman with 13 touchdowns. Then we have Lincoln Glandon from the Dragons with 4 touchdowns. SOP boys Miller Marks with 3. Dragons Neelan Harrell with 2, and ETB's Dalen Montgomery with 1. When it comes to our receivers, we got underrateds Cameron Atkinson with 6 touchdowns leading the way. We got the Dragons with Lincoln Glandon and Neelan Harrell both with 2. SOP boys have Jace Mize with 2. Underrated will finish this thing off with 3 guys, Dash Cox, James Van Patten, and Tatum Merriman, all with 2 touchdowns also. When it comes to interceptions, the Dragons, we got a tie, a 3-way tie. We got the Dragons Lincoln Glandon, underrateds Cameron Atkinson, and Dash Cox, all tied with 3. Then we have another 3-way tie with the Dragons Jackson Fulford, Gunslingers Nash LaFew, and SOP boys Cooper Heiner. They have 2 interceptions also. And then we have 11 other players tied with 1. When it comes to top defenses in the league, we've got underrated with 22 stops, the Dragons with 17, SOP boys with 15, Gunslinger with 11, and ETB with 4. All right, so when it comes to our players of the year, we had one guy, team underrated, Nash Merriman, great season overall. Got to watch him throw. Got to train him a couple sessions so far. We're going to be rolling into that. Look forward to that for his offseason. He's a quick learner and picked up a few things really quickly the other day. So, underrated, congratulations. Nash Merriman, Gunslinger of the Year, 13 touchdowns, led the league, got a chance to go win the championship and all that good stuff. So congratulations there. Rookie division, Gunslinger of the Year. When it comes to our Go-Getter of the Year, same deal, underrated. Underrated's got Cameron Atkinson. Congratulations. You got 6 touchdowns, led the league. Cameron Atkinson, congratulations. Go-Getter of the Year for our rookie division. Man, these interceptions, we got to pay a quarterback or 2 to throw a couple interceptions for all these divisions to get these ties out. But when it comes to defensive leaders, we got 3 guys led the way this year. We've got the Dragons, Lincoln Glandon. We got underrateds, Cameron Atkinson. And then we also got underrateds, Dash Cox. 3 interceptions, led the league. We'll go Ball Hawks of the Year on those 3 guys. Congratulations on that. And we had no rushers in that division, so let's go and get our Player of the Week. So, Players of the Week. Nash Merriman, when it came to quarterbacks, had 4 touchdowns. Lincoln Glandon had 3. But we're going to go ahead and give, you got to do it because it's all about the numbers. Bodie, from Gibbs. Another great weekend from him. He had 13 touchdowns overall. I think he had 6 or 7 in the 2 games versus the rookie division. So congratulations to Bodie from the Gibbs. Another big weekend, man. Gunslinger of the week 2 times in a row. Come back in next year. Maybe you get it every week. Who knows? So, but we'll go from there. You guys, I guess will be next year. You'll be in your youth division. You know, a lot of you guys are 3rd grade. So next year it'll be you kind of dominate this division. Come on up, play in our youth division. We'll have a ton of teams. Make it happen. But anyways, when it comes to our go-getter of the week, same deal. Cameron Atkinson had 2 touchdowns. Ethan from Gibbs had 3 touchdowns, but Eli, receiver from Gibbs, number 91, I believe. Kid's a baller. Straight up go-getter, can go get it. What they call it, head top. I call it mossing still. You know, you get mossed, and nowadays they call it everything else. But Eli, 6 touchdowns throughout his 4 games over the weekend. We're going to give him go-getter of the week. When it comes to ball hawk of the week, really didn't have anybody. Not really intercepted. Had a couple guys get 1 interception, but that was it. So that's what we have. So, all right. So we've got all the information. We've got our stats, our standings, our league leaders, our players of the year, our weekly players of the week. All that's left is the brackets. So I'm going to work on the brackets. I'll get back to you. This will be our Gridiron report for week 6. We'll do another Gridiron report, probably get it out Friday night, maybe Saturday morning. It'll have all the brackets, all the times, all that good stuff. And we'll be playing in Anderson County and Clinton again. So looks like we're going to have the best weather of the year. All right, it's going to be 70-some degrees. Hopefully it's not windy, but hopefully we can get our best action of the year. Everybody come out ready to play. Bring your parents, bring your family members, bring your grandparents. Come let you watch this last weekend of 7-on-7, and let's just get after it. So congratulations to all the teams, all the players, all the coaches. It's championship weekend coming up. I'm Tone Colston. This is your Gridiron Report. See you guys Sunday.